Wow, the duck pond is really full this morning. And even though there's a bunch of trash in here, I don't think the overflow is plugged up. The overflow is running just fine. I got a river running down there to water the trees down along that ditch line that runs along there. I guess I'd better go find out what's going on this morning. Welcome back, everybody, to Nelson Creek Farms. I'm Dave, and we're going to go find out what's going on this beautiful Sunday, the 7th of April, 2023. Houston, I think we have a bit of a problem. Yeah, we do. We got more water coming down than what either of these are taking. In fact, the neighbor has their valve shut off to send the water over here to that thing. And yeah, mine's taking on water that's running over down in there instead of through the valve over here in this thing. So yeah, my riser is clear as full as it's going to take water. Here's the other side of the road. It's clear up to the top of the concrete, running over a little bit. And yeah, we got more water coming through the system, through that ditch next to it, and the one over there that it's running over and coming out here into the field, running down a ditch over there and out into the borrow pit all the way down almost to my place. That's what happens when you have an excess amount of snowpack that is melting quick up in the mountains. Yes, sirree, they got to get rid of that water somehow, so they're sending us all we can handle. So I guess I better get some grass mowed and get some sprinklers running. If I had this west field corrugated and had the pipe buried like I wanted it to, which I give up waiting on the guy to come do it, I'd be turning water out here onto that field today. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to do any good. I think all that pasture grass seed we put in was too dry for too long and wet too late in the season. In fact, we had pea-sized hail that came down Friday night. Looks like about 2 to 3 inches of snow on the ground when it was all said and done. Yeah, so we got plenty of moisture now, but like I said, not enough to probably do that field any good. And nothing's hooked up yet, so we'll put the water out here just to get it out of the way a little bit and help draw it down some. So it looks like I'm going to have to end up buying new seed, reseeding this field, and we need to get some fence posts in to mark how the field is actually laid out. If you recall, in one of my previous videos, this field isn't triangular in shape. It's kind of trapezoidal. It leans one way if you looked at it from the top, from an aerial view, so to speak. Yeah, so that's the way the roads are laid out and that sort of thing. So we're going to get some measurements, put in some posts, and string up some temporary marking lines with some baling twine, if you will. And then I'll get a corrugator on the back of Stinky, and we'll give this a little bit of corrugation in preparation of getting that blue pipe put back together so we can actually get some irrigation water over here this year. Here's a little something to ponder on. Anxiety is basically believing conspiracy theories about yourself. So if you quit believing all those little conspiracy theories that you think everybody is saying, you'll find out you're actually A-OK. Yeah. Now, if you remember, I said that the west field was a triangle shape, which was wrong. It is rectangle, but it leans if you look at it from the air, so it's more of a trapezoidal shape, if I remember my geometry lessons from high school correctly. So what I've got here are 2 fence posts at 20 feet apart, if I remember correctly. So we'll measure these right quick just to double check. Because what has happened is I've hit one of the posts on this side down at the other end of the field when I was coming through that little opening with the Super M and a disc. And I took out the post. So yeah, we're 20 foot wide across here. So we'll do the same measurement down at the bottom end of the field there to the north. Reset the post on this side in relation to the one on that side. Then we'll measure from here over to the far corner on the top end of the field here to get our distance from the bottom ends side to the other. Yeah, and then I can run a piece of baling twine from one end to the other at both locations here and at the far end, and that'll give me the actual width of the field. So when I put in core gates, I'll have core gates covered the whole thing instead of a pie-shaped wedge at one end, not being able to get any water. And just in case you're wondering, yeah, we got some bad storm clouds coming in. Yes, we do. So I'm going to have to hurry if I want to get this done. You know, I think Apple really missed the mark when they brought out their new charger for the iPhone. Yeah, they didn't name it correctly. They should have called it the Apple Juice. Alrighty. 20 feet is right there. Make a mark in the ground with my toe. And right here is the post that I knocked out with the tractor. Yeah. Something like that. I'll go get the stomper and we'll put this in. Now don't be fooled by that blue sky you see in the background. That's about the only bit of blue sky around here. Okay, now this might be a little noisy. These things are fairly heavy pieces of pipe with a great big thick plate welded into the end of it. It's circular. Yeah, big old solid handles on it. So it does weigh quite a little bit, but you need that to drive those posts down into the ground. Well, now that this T-post is in, we'll head back up to the top end of the field and get the measuring wheel across from one side to the other to get that distance dimension. Then we'll come back down here to this T-post and measure from here over and set another post. And I bet we will discover this wooden post is over that way too far. Yeah, it is. I think we're going to need to be over this way, 3 to 4 feet. One thing I did notice down here at the bottom end of the field is all this water congregating down here. Thankfully, the neighbor has a ditch right next door that handles it and gets it to where it needs to go downriver. You can kind of see right there a little piece of what looks like plastic. That's an old marker flag for a little pine tree that's growing right next to it, or trying to grow right there. It's basically underwater right now, at least the roots are. So hopefully that little tree will sprout and grow and do well with a little bit of extra help with water this spring. Now that I know I can get water down this far, I'm going to have to, there's the apple finger, dig a trench across here and over, and I may have to put another catch pond right here to contain any runoff water. This is actually the first time in years water has actually made it this far. So putting in that grass waterway last year with the new tractor, that really helped. And I think when this dries out, we may clean it out a little bit more and then take a plow and do that trench over here and do another pond. We will head across now with the measuring wheel and see what kind of measurements we get going both directions. Well, they will add it together, divide by 2, and that'll tell us what our average distance is here. Okay, 105 feet that way even. Reset and we'll come back your way. Yeah, and I think I'm about done for today. I'm feeling rain splatters hitting me, and it isn't splatter coming off of the sprinklers either. I'm out too far away from them and they're pointing the wrong direction when I'm feeling the rain hitting me. We were supposed to have an 80% chance of it, and it already has rained once today. What do we have here? Coming up on 100. Well, I'll be darned. 105 feet, 2 inches. So I think we're going to call it 105 feet. So now we'll go back down to the other end, measure that. I know you guys can't see it, but I can. Right down there is the other post at the far end of the field, and right there is the tip of that T-post I hauled down here to the bottom end of the field to check the string line. And wouldn't you know it, this post, that T-post right there, and that one way down there are all in a straight line when you sight across this flat side here of this railroad tie. So that means that post is in the right spot, and I need to replace the post that my dip-twit neighbor burned off and put the brace piece back across there that's leaning right there. And yeah, then put up a piece of twine from here all the flipping way down to there with a bunch of posts, H-braces, T-post, all that sort of thing from here behind me to down there. And then we're going to put in anti-climb fence. Yeah, we are. I'm not doing any just regular field fence. We're doing the no-climb fence with the little openings that are small enough you can't get your foot into to climb over it. The reason why I'm going to put in no-climb fence along here is to keep people from stopping on the road here behind me, climbing the cedar fence, which is real easy to do, and then climbing this fence where I'm standing to get into the field here where I may be growing sweet corn eventually, or even doing garden plots, keep people out of it. Yeah. So eventually all of the perimeter fence is going to be redone. It'll be higher, electrified, and be a no climb. Now when I say electrified, I don't mean like 220 volt or 480 volt. I'm talking solar powered fencer with a battery backup. Yeah, I'm going to put it all the way around the perimeter of the place. So if at night somebody thinks they're going to come help themselves and they grab a hold of it, they're going to have a real rude awakening. Well, that's going to do it for today. As always, I appreciate you watching the show and giving me thumbs up, thumbs down, or leaving a comment down below down there. And it really means a lot when you folks subscribe to the channel. You may get bored with an episode or two and not think there's enough old tractors or something, but I promise you they show up every now and again. So, as always, if you would, right down there, please hit that big red thing that says subscribe on it and the little bell icon next to it so you get notified every time there's another video out. I try to do at least one a week, sometimes twice, and I've even managed to get 3 out once in a while. So, that said, we do have a few different videos coming up for you here in the next several episodes. So, in one of these upcoming videos, we're going to be putting the 2-point hitch back on this Farmall 450. It currently has an early 39 Farmall H drawbar on it, and it has all the holes and everything for the hitch to mount onto. So we'll take the hitch off the salvage tractor and put it on here and get this thing prepped to either go back to where it came from in trade for some smaller little red and orange tractors, or outright sell this thing. Another video in the works is reuniting this front end loader bucket to the farmhand loader that I have purchased over at the Iron Mound farm that is still sitting there. So yeah, this bucket came off that. We'll be putting it back on. And while we're at the Iron Mound farm putting that loader back together, if it's still there, we're going to rob the right fender off of another WD, Alice Chalmers, that's sitting over there. Plus, we're going to get the 3-point hitch off of it to put on this one to make this tractor a really useful tractor when I get it running. Yep, I do have a soft spot for orange tractors. I will admit it. And last but not least, we're going to be visiting the Twin Acres farm. They have their own YouTube channel, and we're going to be talking diversification on farm income by raising different things, whether it be animals and livestock or produce. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. As always, I'm Farmer Dave wishing you well. Y'all have a good one now. Bye-bye.